Greetings and welcome to Shamanic Musings with Cate. Today I'm going to talk about a concept called soul loss. How could we lose our soul? Well, generally we lose pieces of our soul. And I believe everybody has experienced this either in childhood or in adulthood. When we are suddenly shocked, when we experience trauma, from big trauma to little trauma, losing pieces of ourselves is actually a misnomer. We give up. We give pieces of ourselves, or we send a piece of ourselves away. In the case of an accident or violence or a sudden shock, our body sends a piece of our soul outside of this reality into what is called other realities in order to have at least part of us that survives the trauma. And very often these pieces come back once things have settled down. And sometimes they don't. And they get lost in other realities where they're cared for and very often with other lost souls. But they all want to come home as long as home is safe and welcoming. Another way we lose pieces of our soul, as I said, is we give them away. Now, particularly for people who are super sensitive, there are lots of names for us these days. If we see someone else suffering, for example, a loved one, we may give a piece of ourselves, our souls to them. When we are separated from loved ones by anything, by geographics, by moving, as I say, by divorce, by death, often make deals on a sort of a subconscious level. If we're going to be separated, I'm going to give you a piece of me and you give me a piece of you, and we'll be comforted. And for the most part, it's done with good intentions. Realistically, what happens is each person is burdened because they're missing pieces themselves. And each person is also burdened because they've taken on energy that is not theirs. And spiritual truth is you cannot use someone else's energy. It's unusable. So, with often very good intentions, we give ourselves away. Reminds me of a song from the 70s or 80s. Give yourself away. When I did counseling with women who had experienced violence in the home, very often they would come in and say, I just feel like pieces of myself are missing. And once I began studying shamanic journeying and particularly experiencing soul retrieval, I realized you're absolutely right. You are walking around missing a lot of yourself, because the more pieces that we give up or that are taken, now there's another good concept. Soul pieces are never actually taken from us. You might hear the term soul thievery or soul thief. Traditional stories sometimes that's what is presented. But on some level, the person whose soul is taken willingly gives it up. That's a hard one. So here we are, many of us walking around missing pieces of our soul. Now, one of the great things that you can do with just a little meditation or a little drumming is to ask Spirit to take from you any energy, any soul pieces that are not yours. Sometimes if we have spaces, we may just pick up energy in a lot of different ways that is not our own. So, if you have a minute, I'm going to do a quick drumming. Just close your eyes, take a couple of breaths, and put out your intent, which is to give back any energy I'm carrying that is not mine. May it go back to source. Here we go. Bon voyage. Take a deep breath and come back. able to release any energy that you're carrying that does not belong to you. You'll feel lighter. If you would like a short drum recording with the callback on it so that you can practice yourself letting go of energies that are not yours and you don't need, just leave a message down below and say yes please, and I will send you a 10 or 15 minute drumming audio. Thanks very much for listening, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe so that the messages go around the world. Thanks for listening. See you next week.